So adding some depth inside that quarterback room, paramount, and the message from AP there. Keep in mind, Gardner Minshew obviously had some really good moments for the Colts, which is why he earned that new contract. And we know Aiden O'Connell did help that offense at times last season. According to the mock drafts, Michael Penix, according to Daniel Jeremiah, could be the 13th overall pick going there. David, the reality is you look at all these mocks on NFL.com, there's a ton of conversation that through trades, we could see the first 4 picks being quarterbacks. So you tell me, how much should the Raiders prioritize actually moving up from 13 to go and take one of those signal callers?
Well, first, can I just say I love Antonio Pierce?
Yeah.
He's my ex-teammate with the Giants. The guy's fantastic, and he does not know how to coach speak. He just tells you exactly what he's feeling at the time, and I think that's great. So I think that you kind of understand where the Las Vegas Raiders are. They're going to get a quarterback. They got to add one to that room. And when you do the math and you start to look at the top of this draft board, there's essentially 5 guys, right, that we're all kind of talking about. But that also did some math, and there's about 6 or 7 teams in the top 13 that want a quarterback. So I think that's like, you got to move up. You're going to have to make something happen. So he has a lot of trust in his front office and in finding the right guy, and then also making the appropriate moves to get up there. But honestly, you know, when you look at this thing, I really think that they're going to have to get one a little bit higher than where they are. I think they're going to have to go up. They're going to have to identify who they want, what quarterback fits their system. Obviously, we know who Devontae wants, right? So I think that that's one of the things you're going to have to navigate also, because he's not a piece that you can move, right? Because that would be kind of ironic. You trade Devontae to bring in Jaden Daniels, who he wants. I think that that's going to be really fun to see how this thing plays out. And look, the 2 quarterbacks that he mentioned with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, perfectly good quarterbacks. Those guys are both going to be fine. I think that Gardner played really well last year when he had to throw in for the Indianapolis Colts. But I think also Aiden showed some moxie and showed some ability. You know, sometimes you just need a little bit more time. You know, he's got to gain some experience. But it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, because I really think they're going to go get one. They're going to find a quarterback. They're going to either move up and try and jump, you know, whether it be, you know, looking at the Giants, the Broncos, the Vikings, like all these teams, right? They're all going to be in the quarterback market. So depending on how their draft board looks, depending how Antonio feels about some of these other players, how their front office feels about some of these players, that's really going to tell the difference. And it's not even his draft board. It's other draft boards. It's other teams. It's right. It's how do the Broncos feel? What did Minnesota, you know, with the quarterbacks remaining? How do they feel about the current slate? So it's going to be a lot of fun on draft day to see that first round go, because, man, 5 quarterbacks could go in the first 5 picks. Like, literally it could happen, and I would not be surprised if teams moved up to get them.
Well, keep in mind if that is the case, and keep in mind from a Giants perspective, they pick 6, Minnesota 11, Denver is picking 12, and this Raiders team that we're discussing picking 13th. The Vikings obviously have 2 picks in the first round. Plenty of speculation about them trying to move up. We're seeing video of Michael Penix. Does he make the most sense based on what the moves could potentially be?
Yeah, I think so. I think you look at Drake May, you look at all these guys, right? I think that these guys are probably going to be gone. So when you look at who you're going to have available, I like Michael Penix a lot, man. Like, he's one of the few guys that when I watch him, right, there's JJ McCarthy. He can do some things. He can move around. He's accurate with the football. He would be also fine in this situation. I really like Penix, though. I'm a big Penix fan. I think that he's essentially a jugs machine. He hasn't run a lot, but he jumped really well. He ran fast. I think that's going to be the guy that if I was there and I'm picking 13 and Penix is floating around, he's still there, looks like we can go up, move up a spot or 2 and grab him, I definitely would try.
Do they need to have a guy? Brian Baldinger on Friday was telling me, hey, like, it's all good. Like, Aiden O'Connell won them some football games. Gardner Minshew won a lot of football games for the Colts. Do they have to panic?
I think that the only thing that would put pressure on you is other players in that locker room. I think that's the main thing. So if you look at like a Devontae Adams or Max Crosby, like, what are they saying to Antonio Pierce? What is the collective team? How do they feel, right? How many more years is Devontae Adams going to play? If they don't grab a quarterback, are you going to have an issue with your star wide receiver? Those are some of the things that we aren't privy to that information, but you can definitely see that could be an issue.
Yeah, it's always fun to have the speculation within a month now for the NFL draft. And, of course, it is in full swing this draft season. Our daily draft show, yes, David, it is back in a